shaykh there, he was sharing his story with us. And I heard it personally, yani. It's a very famous story. Just to give you an example, one of the mashayikh there, he says, I was hired by one of the masajid as an imam. He says, I was hired as an imam by one of the mosques. He says, and I was new to the area. And really, yani, this is a true story, so I really want you to really live it out, yeah? He says, I was the imam, and I used to take the bus from my house to the town, to that area, and then I would walk to the masjid. It wasn't far from there. And he says, because I was the imam, when I would go to the masjid, yani he went in his abaya and the amama and the whole shebang. He says, so I would take this bus. He says, one day I jumped on the bus, and it was a new bus driver, so it wasn't someone that he had seen. He says, I jumped on the bus, I paid him for my fare, and he gave me the change. He says, when he gave me the change, I didn't really look at what he gave me until I went back to the back of the bus. I sat down. He says, when I sat down, I looked at the money and I realized he gave me 20 pence. In the UK, 20 pence, and we're talking nothing, but cents. Like 10 cents at most. He says, so like I sat there and I said, man, the guy gave me more. He said, and then the conversation started happening in my head. And honestly, how many times have you been in this position? He's thinking, you know what? It's 20 pence, it's nothing, bro. Don't worry about it. Madbahdil halak, you know what I mean? Don't embarrass yourself. They're a big company anyway, bro. And really, what's 20 cents gonna do, eh? If he was a level 100%, he would have said, like, ruh, bro, they're all dogs anyway, bro. They're all kuffar, they're all going to hell. Like, rip them. So the man's sitting there and he's thinking, bro, it's 20 cents. Should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? He says, and wallahi, for the whole trip, this is the conversation that's happening. He says, like, it wasn't about the money. It was just... And then the sheikh was saying, when I got to my bus stop, he said, when I got to my destination, he said, I got off my chair, I'm walking down the bus, I'm walking to the front door. He says, wallahi, and I'm still saying to myself, do I give it? Don't I give it? He says, and then as soon as I got to the bus driver, he said, I don't know what went into me, man. He said, when I turned over to the bus driver, I said to him, look, man, you gave me 20 extra. He goes, no, I didn't give you 20 extra. He goes, I gave it to you intentionally. He said, why did you give it to me intentionally? He goes, well, for 3 years I've been looking into Islam. And he said, when I came and I seen you dressed the way you were dressed, I knew that you were an imam. He said, so today I was going to make my decision. If you were honest, I was going to embrace Islam. But if you kept that money, he said, I knew that you were liars like everyone else lies. So now the sheikh is speaking about himself. He says, I gave him the money. He says, I got off the bus. He says, when the bus drove off, he says, I started crying. I said to him, why? Because the man accepted Islam, or he was about to accept Islam. He gets me, la wallahi la. I said to him, why? He said to me, I almost sold my deen for 20 cents, bro. He said, I almost sold Islam. I sold the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal for 20 cents. Now you're thinking, bro, I would never do it. But how many of us, honestly, how many of us have sent our wives to Centrelink? Send your wife to Centrelink in a scarf or jilbab and even taray niqab. She's got 3 kids in a pram, 1 on her hand, 1 in her stomach, and she's walking in signing papers saying, I'm a single mother. Why? Because you get a couple of dollars at the end of the week, bro. So don't tell me, oh, you know what, well, I'll never do it. Wallahi, because shaitan comes in different ways, man. How many of us heard for a little lie? Little lie, the brother's buying a C63, goes to the RTA, yeah bro, I bought it for 6 grand, man. Why? Because he pays a little bit less stamp duty. Muslim with a bead, signing on paper, lying. Why? To save a couple of bucks. He says, I almost sold my deen, bro, for 20 cents. That's dunya, man. That's dunya. What is this world? Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, what is this world in reality? In reality, malish, let me be straight out with you, man. Am I allowed to speak Quran? Am Am I allowed to speak Quran? I won't tell you the opinion of some shaykh. He can argue and tell me, cuz, who's the shaykh, what's his asl, what's his name. Forget it. Quran. Can I speak Quran? Allah Azza wa Jal says about dunya. And He created dunya. So He knows it better than you, better than me, better than anyone. He says, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. You know what one of the opinion is about mata' al-ghurur? You know what Allah Azza wa Jal is saying this world is? Mata' al-ghurur, my brothers, with all due respect to the sisters that are here. Mata' al-ghurur is a rag the women used to use as a tampon. And it's not just a rag. Allah Azza wa Jal isn't saying it's a rag. He's saying it's a used rag. Yani it's already got blood on it and it's of no benefit to anyone. This is dunya. Not my words, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying. And He created it, so He knows it for its reality. He says, this is this dunya. This is what you're running after. This is what every one of us, deep down in his heart, is dying for, waking up for, working 12, 13, 14 hours for, bro. This, for a used tampon, bro. And I wish it's that, bro. We're punching on now because of it. We're going to war on the streets now. Muslims are bluntly killing Muslims. Why? For used tampon. We've sold our deen. Wallahi, we've sold our deen. Go to any masjid you like any masjid for a Fajr prayer. And see how many people choose Allah over dunya. Go! I'm not going to tell you, Allah, go, your own masjid, choose the own masjid you want. Go there for Jum'ah, then go there the next morning for Fajr. And then the same crowd. You know what's funny? You told, Wallahi, brother, deen or dunya? Astaghfirullah, cuz, what are you calling me a kafir, bro? Deen, brother, deen. Allah comes first in my life. Allahu Akbar, beautiful. You know, my brothers, Allah Azza wa Jal, He's not looking for words. If it's words, we're all awliya here. If it's words, forget it. I'm the biggest aflamja on the face of the planet, bro. I'm on levels. But Allah's not looking for words. What's Allah looking for? Action. Because actions, my brothers, they speak far louder than words. Far louder than words. The same ummah that tells you, brother, I believe in Allah. And I believe that Allah is a Razzaq. And I believe it's Allah who gives and takes dunya. These same people, for Salat al-Fajr, everyone is... But then at 6:30 in the morning, he's up on his feet, buying a za'atar manushi with a V and a cigarette, going to work. I'm not saying this is haram, but seriously, what have you chosen, deen or dunya? The same ummah that says to me, nah brother, it's Allah, 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 for Fajr is asleep. But then when he comes to work, wallahi, if his boss tells him, cuz you gotta be at 3 in the morning, like tikram ayunak, bro. What have we chosen, man? What have we chosen? So it's not about, you ask yourself, what have I really chosen? Have I chosen deen or have I chosen dunya? What has gotten the better of me? Rasulullah, he knew the reality of this dunya, man. Sometimes people think that, being a Muslim means you have to be a hater for dunya. No. The Prophet of Allah didn't come to tell us to hate dunya, no. He came to expose dunya to its reality. He came to show you how to take the best from dunya and leave the rest of it behind.